Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm gonna let you guys know where this channel is going to be going because I have been trying to figure that out and I finally did. So I'll see you back here in just a minute.
With every start, we are born again. Open your heart, spend this time in your head.
I've been trying to figure out for a little while where I was going to go with my channel. I've focused so much over the past 2 years on the keto and carnivore lifestyle. I've covered most of those facets and aspects, and I really don't do a whole lot of recipes anymore. So it was time to figure out where I was going to make a change. Now, in one of my most recent videos that I put out, I talked about the fact that I have to change things up. I ended up having to bring some more carbs back in to be able to eat properly. And I'm happy to report that it didn't last for very long. I did not need a whole lot of carbs, no more than 50 grams really a day, for more than a week, maybe a week and a half. And then I didn't want them anymore. I wasn't craving them at all. They did not trigger any ridiculous cravings that I couldn't contain. So I'm pretty much back to ketovore again. I checked my macros yesterday and I only had about 20 grams of carbs yesterday. Still got plenty of meat and fat in, no problems whatsoever. So I think that the little bit of carbs that I ate kind of did something of a reset. It was really nice, worked out very well. But I am still keeping more veggies in, even though they're all keto friendly. I was talking with my husband and trying to figure out where I was going to take my channel. And then he told me, well, why don't you talk about what you're passionate about? And I said, well, what am I passionate about? And he said, right now, putting away food. That's what I've really been passionate about. I've been learning how to can and freeze dry and dehydrate and create things like pemmican and all of those types of preparations in case of emergencies, in case of power outages, in case of something that's far out of our control. Say, how much food does your grocery store have? All of those things have been more and more impactful in our lives personally in the past 6 months, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. It seems like we're still kind of traveling in that same direction. I actually recently heard several different sources say that there's a prediction that beef could go as high as $50 a pound in the next 6 to 12 months. That's a problem. That is definitely a problem for people who are beef-only carnivores. I don't know that they're going to be able to pay those prices if that time were to come. Well, then what does that mean? It's probably time to start putting some of your carnivore foods away now for long-term future use. And I think that's really where my passion has been lately, not so much on necessarily the recipes, but putting things away so that if it gets worse than it already is, I have some options that are going to be keto and or carnivore. Pemmican, for example, is my new absolute obsession. I tried the carnivore bar for the very first time, fell in love with it. Ironically, a week after I put that out, they ran out of stock. So it's definitely a very popular item, but I can probably make it on my own. Is it going to be the same? Not even close, but I can do my best. And if I'm looking at long-term storage solutions for foods, specifically carnivore foods, then pemmican is number one top of the list for long-term storage. I've heard of some that last 10 years or more. Just depends on how well you dehydrate it and process it and how it's stored. So that's really where my passion has been lately. And I think a lot of other people are beginning to see some issues too. Where I live, we're really rural. There's not a lot of grocery stores around me. The closest one is about 20 minutes away. Those stores have been getting lower and lower on stock for a long time, at least 6 months. It's not getting any better, it's getting worse. One of the things about living rurally is that we actually see the problems before a lot of the big cities do. So a lot of our product is actually being diverted to go to the bigger cities. So we're running out faster. And that means that we're more aware of what could be an issue. So if you live in a city, you may not have noticed that there's anything wrong with the grocery stores. And you're like, oh no, there's tons of stuff that's there. It's not a problem. I watched a video today from Patera over at Appalachia's Homestead, and she relays a conversation that she had with a friend of hers that runs a grocery business. And this person was explaining to her that what they're seeing is a massive increase in inflation, in prices. The lettuce, for example, was less than $1 a year ago, and now it's over $2. That is a huge jump in prices. Well, the lettuce isn't nearly as expensive as the beef or the eggs. When we first moved to Wisconsin, we drove to Walmart, and those big boxes of 5 dozen eggs that you can get, no, they're not good quality eggs, but it's still eggs. It used to be $3.48. Now it is $15.48, and we've only been here for 2 years. So that is a major increase. Butter is more expensive. Cheese is more expensive. All meats, quality is going down and prices are going up. So what does that mean? We should probably start putting away what we can now, because if the prices keep going the way they are going, it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. It's time to start thinking about long-term storage. Yes, I have freezers on this property. I process deer sometimes in the winter when I work for the hunting lodge that's down the road. Sometimes I get extra venison, sometimes I don't. This year has been a very slow year. We don't have any extra venison to speak of. But I do have giant freezers. What happens if the power goes out? If the power goes out in Wisconsin in the winter, not a problem. I have freezers that don't need power because it's so stinking cold outside that it's not going to be an issue. And in my house, I have a wood burning stove that we installed so that I will be able to keep my family warm and I can cook on top of it. What do you have ready for yourself in an instance like that? Because unfortunately, it doesn't really matter where you live. Those types of things do happen. Do you remember that cold spell a couple of years ago that had people's toilets exploding in Texas? Because it froze the pipes, they lost all of their power and had nothing. Think about those scenarios. In those cases, it would be a great thing to have something like a room heater that is made out of a ceramic pot for planting, some tea lights, and something to hold the pot up in place. Those can be literal lifesavers in situations like that. So what isn't too terribly expensive right now, definitely more expensive than it was a year ago, could make the difference between your comfort and being absolutely miserable or even in danger if you aren't ready for what could possibly come. Now, I don't want to say that I'm a doomsday person, but my daddy raised me to always expect that something could change, and it will change. Nothing is ever going to stay the same. If we look at history, it's only so long until something ridiculously bad happens or frustrating. Let's talk about the weather too. Oh my goodness, this has been crazy. There was just a series of tornadoes, what was it, 12 to 15 of them down in the Panhandle in Texas and Oklahoma. And now we're looking at another hurricane that is on its way to Florida. We're looking at possible blizzards, snowstorm conditions coming down, Arctic blasts from the north. There's a lot. There are a lot of things that could go wrong at any given time. Wildfires over in California were a huge problem for us. We had to make sure that we had all of our preparations so we could jump into the RV, be ready to go at a moment's notice. It's those types of things that I've really been passionate about lately. And I think that we may need to try to blend the two, being prepared for any instance or any scenario and meshing it with our keto carnivore lifestyle or low carb even. And there will potentially come a time where you can only store so many keto carnivore things. And then we need to start looking at branching out towards things that are maybe low carb or even forbidden for us. Because if it really truly comes down to it, then any kind of food would be preferable to starving. And that's actually one of the reasons that I kind of wanted to try to go low carb again. And I was more open to that concept because I'm looking at the grocery store and I'm looking at so many other things, and all the signs are there that things are not normal anymore. There's going to be more of a change than there already has been, and I have to adjust and find ways for my family to adjust as well. We have really big bags of rice, and I allow the kids to eat rice. I have stores of certain things that I've been able to get my hands on, and a lot of those things don't even exist anymore. You can't find them in bulk, or they have gone up at least double in price. So it's definitely time to start thinking about those types of things. Now, let me preface this all by saying, I hope I never need any of these preparations, but I would much rather be ready and not need it than not be ready and need it. So that's honestly probably where my channel is going to go. We're going to be making things like little room heaters, and we're going to be doing canning and freeze drying, dehydrating, making long-term storage solutions for things like keto and carnivore foods. I'm also going to start gardening for the first time ever, and we're going to see what happens. I have a greenhouse, I have a big giant garden. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm going to do my very best because I know that it's going to be cheaper for me to grow it myself, and possibly more reliable for me to grow it myself than counting on my grocery stores to have it. I can't tell you the number of times I've gone to the grocery store recently for 1 or 2 items and they aren't there. So I've had to come up with an alternative for it or just skipped it altogether. Now, again, I live rurally, so we run out of things faster than a lot of the big stores in the bigger cities do. But that doesn't mean that it couldn't start to spill over. Between possible fuel shortages and the railway strikes and the weather alone, that could severely impact the amount of food that we are able to have delivered to our grocery stores. I'm not trying to freak anybody out. I'm just saying that you might want to consider what you could be doing for yourself today to help prepare for what may happen tomorrow. We can never be prepared for absolutely everything, but getting a book on medicinal herbs, looking at what weeds are growing out in your yard that you could learn how to make teas and tinctures and medicines from could be very useful right now. Because do you remember not too long ago, you go to the store and nobody could find Tylenol? It could happen again at any point in time. And every time those things have happened, I kind of smile to myself and chuckle and say, yep, Dad was right. Wouldn't it be nice to know that you have done something to help you get through those situations? I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. It's taken me way longer to record this than I anticipated. There should be a lot of things in the bloopers for you because, wow, that was fun. Anyways, please check and see if you're still subscribed to me. A lot of people have been finding that they have been removed from a lot of their subscriptions. So go through, check your subscriptions and make sure that you're still subscribed to people that you've signed up for. I've had several people reach out to me and say, hey, did you unsubscribe me? I don't have that ability. And they said, nope, YouTube is clearing out a bunch of people right now. So go ahead and check that. Please like and share this video with anyone that you think might need to hear this. How to blend getting ready for what the future may hold and low carb keto or carnivore eating. Thanks so much, guys, for checking in with me today, and I will see you on the way. I focused so much lately. I've focused that what they're seeing, a room heater that's made out of, just a second, and we could, and that is my hey guy. Hang on. Hello? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, bye. Yes. Trash to the street.
I already did that.
Oh, nice. Very good. Trash to the street. It's all done. Okay, now I'll finish. I don't even remember what I was talking about. That is unfortunate before the phone call.
Can you not go look back?
I can go look back, but then I have to stop it, and then I have to go look back. Technology. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'll be right back. There's another word. There's actually several words, and I can't think of them. And there's a child. What was I saying now? Wouldn't it be nice to know that you have done... Oh my gosh!
It's not my fault!
To help... To...
That was excessive.
Anything else? It's crazy.